Alright, so now we'll set up the front end for our sign-in page. So we're going to have a whole bunch of view pages for the authentication system. So I'll create a new folder called authentication. And then here I'll create a new file called login.view. Put a template in. A lot of web pages now use the term sign in, not login. So I'm going to use the term sign in wherever it appears on the page, but in all the code I'm going to call it login. Sign in. But right now this isn't connected to anything yet, so we're not going to be able to see it anywhere. So let's go to our web.php, and I'll put all the login routes near the top. So we'll make a route to /login. And it'll go to the new controller we just made, login controller. And if we open it up, we'll see we have a function called create. That's the one we're going to use here. Create. And if we hit that route, we're going to return this login page. So return Inertia authentication /login. So now if we go to /login, I forgot to import the login controller. I do this all the time. In the route, just copy that, paste it. So it'll be authentication /login controller. Save. Oh, okay. If you ever get this message, you just have to restart the front end. npm run dev. And refresh it. And there we go. We know it's connecting because we can see it say sign in. And that's what we have right here. So our login view page is connected. And I just wanted to mention here, up till now, all we've been seeing on this page is the / route, the / nothing. Any route that has a GET request is going to show the route you name here. If it's any other type of request, a put request, a delete request, you're not going to see it in the address bar. But any GET request is what's going to be seen in the address bar. And we'll just fix up our header here. Right now if you click on sign in, it doesn't go anywhere. So if we go to header.view, we've already got link imported. So around sign in we'll say link href equals /login sign in /link. Save that and we'll test it out. We'll go home first, click sign in. Yay, it works. And we can also add a custom tab label, so when we click on sign in, it'll say sign in. So if we go back to login.view, script setup, then we'll import head from Inertia view 3, and we can say head title equals sign in. Save. And now you can see it says Laravel sign in. And I'll just change that Laravel. Remember, you go to the .env file and change the app name. I'll just call it VILT stack. Save. Oh yeah, it has to be in quotations because there's a space there. And it's working again. Okay, now we'll set up the structure for sign in. Go to login.view. We'll make it a form. And we're going to ask for the email and password. So this will be the email div. Label email. We'll have the input. And this will be for the password. Label password. Input type equals password. And here we're also going to specify autocomplete equals new password, because if we don't, it would automatically populate both the email and password fields. It's the old way that browsers used to work, so we have to put in this autocomplete statement. And we're also going to have a forgot password link. Forgot password. And we're going to have a sign in button. Oh, and lastly, we're going to have a create account option. Haven't got an account. Create account. Save. There we go. And we'll give it some style. I'm going to create a file called authentication.css. And I'll import it in app.css. And I'll wrap the whole form in a div. So if I press Control and square right parenthesis, it'll indent this whole block. And I'll give it a class name. I'll call it auth container. I discovered that if I just call it container, it gets overwritten by Tailwind. So first, let's just make sure our new authentication.css file is connecting. .auth container. Color red. Yep. Alright, it's connecting. So I'll give it a border. Alright, we've got the border. We'll make it not so wide, so say position fixed. Width 30 VW. Okay, it's smaller now. Alright, and why I like to use position fixed. If you can use a bit of algebra, overall it makes it much easier for positioning items on the page. So I'm going to say left. I'm going to center this. So it's going to be 35 VW. And I'll just explain how I arrived at that number. So it's 100 minus the width of 30 divided by 2. Save that. There we go. Perfectly centered. Give it a margin at the top here. 7 VH. There, that looks better. And we'll also give it some padding on the inside. 2. There we go. It's looking better. Now we'll style what's inside here. First we'll give them all some spacing. If I alt-click, I can do 3 at the same time. Class equals PB padding bottom 3. And we'll leave the button on its own. And this one will add a padding top. 5. There, spaced out better. Okay, so these lines are the same width. We're going to line them up by setting a width for each of these labels. I'll give these labels a class. Auth label. And in the CSS file, .auth label. Width 6 VW. I'll save it, but it won't do anything yet. We have to add display inline block for some reason. Then it'll work. Here we go. But they're a bit short, so we'll make them longer. So we'll give each of the inputs a class. Class equals auth input. And then the CSS.auth input. We'll say width 16.5 VW. Save. And they're nice and long now. Alright, let's make these two have smaller text. You can do that right in the view file. Alt-click. Text small. Okay. And we'll style them as links. Now links can have a universal look for the whole website, so I'll make a new CSS file called links.css. And I'll import it in app.css. So I'll just set a span around this here, create account. And I'll give these two a class of link. Save. And first we'll just check and make sure it's connecting. So we'll go .link, color blue. Alright. And I just got a bunch of fancy stuff from ChatGPT, so I'll just paste that in here. So it's going to change in different situations. Save that. So if you hover over it, it changes color. If you click on it, it looks like it does something, and it's got that pointer. Alright, we'll style the button now. And again, a button can have a common look for the whole website. So I'll create a new CSS file called buttons.css. And I'll import it in app.css. We'll give our button a class of button. And in buttons.css, go .button, border, 1px solid black, save. Alright, it's all connected. We'll give it some padding. And that looks better. We can give the background a color when we hover over it. So we'll say .button, hover, background, E, save, there, looks nice. And we'll just center it. So display, flex, margin, 0, auto. It's not very readable, but this will center it. There we go. Alright, and the last thing we'll do here for style is we'll add a little password eye, so you can click on it and see what you're typing. Right now, it has type equals password, so you can't see what you're typing. So we'll create a new component for that in the authentication folder. Call it passwordeye.view. And I'm just going to paste the whole thing in. It's all from ChatGPT. It's pretty crazy. Save that. And we also have to add a CSS file for the password eye. So create a new CSS file. Call it password eye. CSS. Import it in app.css. And again, I'm just going to paste it all in. It's all just from ChatGPT, but it works. Now if we go back to login.view, we'll import that password eye component. Call it password eye. And we'll put that password eye right after the password input. Password eye. Save. There it is. Doesn't work yet, but it's there. Looks perfect. So we'll import ref from view. Ref is often useful for changes in the front end. And we'll say const show password equals ref false. And we're going to modify type equals password. We're going to say type equals show password question mark text password. So if show password is true, it'll show the text. If show password is false, it'll have type equals password, which just gives those circles. And one final thing, we have to add the logic to our password eye component. So we say show equals show password at toggle equals show password equals not show password. Save that and let's test it out. Oh no. I also forgot a space here. Oh, and I also forgot a colon here. Save that There we go, our line's back. And if we type in a password, if I click this, yay! I can toggle between. Alright, so look at that, we're all done. We're all done the login page. Just kidding, there's a lot more to do. It doesn't do anything yet. We'll get it working in the next video. I'll just push this to GitHub. And it's there.